You gotta be careful with this bolt. You don't want to cross thread it. Hey guys, I'm Nate. Today we're going to be changing the oil on my manual Hellcat Challenger. Alright, so before we start, just want to go through some of the changes I've made to the stock oil system. So I have the catch can here. It's really good for just capturing excess oil that I don't want that getting in the intake. And then the other thing I did is I changed out this dipstick. You'll see this is a blade style dipstick. This is on the later Challengers. Wasn't on my 2015. And I'm using a 7 quart capacity compared to what the manual says, which is 6. Again, that's on the later Challengers. And the other thing I'm using is this thing, which is the SRT. It's the Viper filter. So you can actually see it says Mopar on it. But if I take this out, you'll see it says SRT on it. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do, let's get this car up off the ground. All right, so we're gonna have 4 splash shoe bolts here. They're all 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're actually marked numerically. So we're gonna remove these. All right, so with these bolts off, this just slides out. And now you got access to the oil filter and the drain plug. The other thing we need to do on Hellcats is we have to get access to the oil cooler. So we're gonna have to take off some more bolts for that. All right, so in order to get to the oil cooler, we're gonna take off this splash pan. So there's gonna be a bunch of clips, 1, 2, 3 on this side. There's gonna be another 3 on the other side. And we're gonna have these 7mm screws. So let's go ahead and take all of that off. All right, so with all those clips and bolts removed, just slide this back, set this out of the way. And this is your oil cooler line. So your oil cooler drain bolts is gonna be here. Be super careful when you remove this or when you put it back. This is soft, so you wanna make sure you torque this right so that you don't strip these threads. All right, so now it's time to start draining the oil. So the first thing you wanna do is drain the oil pan. This is a 13mm bolt, and you want to do this before you do the oil cooler so that you get most of the oil out from here, and then just a little bit, maybe like 8 ounces is going to come out of there. So you're going to do the oil, you're going to do this oil pan first, we're going to replace the filter, and then we'll do the oil cooler. Just let that drain. All right, so while that's draining, you can start to loosen this. Now, if you hand tighten it when you put it back on, which is what you should be doing, you should just be able to remove it without a wrench. But if it's too tight, you can use something like this. It's a strap wrench to get it off. So this is a new oil filter. That's the SRT part number. You're gonna want to take just put your finger in some new oil and just wipe it here around the gasket. You want to do this before you put the filter back on. Then just screw it back in, and remember, we're only going to be hand tightening. All right, next thing, take your bolt. So you don't have to worry about crush washers on this car. Just go ahead and put that drain bolt back in. All right, so just leave that finger tight for now. We'll torque it down later. All right, so the next thing we're going to remove is this oil cooler bolt. So you're going to need like a small bucket or something like this to catch the oil here. It's not a whole lot of space, but it's 15mm, and it comes out pretty easy. So just loosen it a little bit, and then you can just remove this by hand. Like I said, there's not a ton of oil that's going to come out of this, but you're doing the job, might as well do the job properly. So yeah, just give that a little bit to let it drain. All right, so once this is draining, I find it easier to put this bolt back in from the side of the car, not from underneath. So you have the right orientation. You gotta be careful with this bolt. You don't want to cross thread it. All right, so let's torque these bolts down. So I said the oil filter, we're going to keep that hand tightened. We're going to torque the oil drain to 20 foot-pounds and also the oil cooler to 20 foot-pounds. All right, so after you torque those bolts down, just go ahead and replace the splash pans exactly how they came off. And then we can lower this car down and fill the oil again. So since I'm doing 7 instead of 6 on the 2015 Hellcat, what I like to do is go ahead and fill this to 6, and then after that I'll just keep checking the dipstick to see where that sweet spot is. So after we've done the 6 quarts, start the car so oil will circulate into the oil cooler and into the oil filter, and then you're going to want to top it off. The next thing you want to do is, while you're in the car, reset the EVIC. So put the ignition in on. So in run. Then go ahead and wait for this to pop up. You're going to go to vehicle info, find oil life, and hold OK to reset it. And there you go, back to 100%. So if you have a catch can, this is the time to replace it. I took mine off. So I already emptied this maybe less than 1,000 miles ago, and you can already see how much oil is in this. So I guess it definitely helps. So you're gonna wanna save this video, bookmark it, because I'm gonna go ahead and put in the description all the stuff that I had mentioned, what type of oil, the torque, the sizes of all the different bolts, the quantities, everything, the part numbers for some of the stuff I upgraded on here. So bonus tip, if you made it this far, your used oil filters, you can go ahead and take those to pretty much any auto parts store, AutoZone, Discount Auto Parts, Advanced Auto Parts, and they have a place in the back. You just tell them, hey, I got this oil I need to dump, and you can just go ahead and dump it back there. So you don't have to worry about where you're gonna throw it away. You're gonna wanna check out this video next, and if you've already seen that, check this one out. I'll see you guys there. Thanks, bye.